Hello, luminous soul. Have you ever felt the weight of history pressing against your soul, whispering the names of those who came before you? Have you ever wondered about the first woman to weave divine truth into words, the first prophetess to bring the voice of the sacred into the realm of humanity? Before the prophets of the great religions, before the poets of empires yet to rise, there was one woman who spoke to the heavens and brought down their message in sacred verse. She was Enheduanna, high priestess, poet, oracle of the moon, the first recorded prophetess in human history. Her voice was the voice of the divine, etched in clay, carried by the wind, echoing through time. And though the sands of Sumer have long since covered the temples where she walked, her words remain, immortal, untamed, alive. So today, we listen. We listen to her message, and through her, we hear the voice of the eternal, the chosen vessel, Enheduanna and the moon god. In the cradle of civilization, in the land between two rivers, she was born, not merely as a woman, but as a vessel of the divine. The world knew her as the daughter of Sargon of Akkad, ruler of the mighty Akkadian Empire. But Enheduanna was no mere daughter of kings. She was the chosen one, the appointed high priestess of Nana, the moon god. It was beneath the silver glow of the celestial watcher that she received her visions. She spoke with gods. She walked with spirits. She held in her hands the truths of heaven, channeling them into hymns that wove the fabric of the spiritual world. She did not merely pray. She became the prayer. She did not simply write. She inscribed eternity into clay. She was the bridge between the mortal and the divine, the power of the divine word. They say the first words spoken were divine. That language itself was a gift from the gods. But what happens when a woman, for the first time in recorded history, takes those words and speaks them as her own? Enheduanna did something no one had done before. She signed her name. I, Enheduanna, high priestess of Nana, have written this. With that one act, she did not merely write poetry. She claimed her divine authority. Her words were not whispers. They were declarations. Her voice was not borrowed. It was sovereign. She did not ask for permission. She spoke as one with the gods. She was not a servant to the divine. She was the divine made manifest in human form. The hymns of the goddess, a prophetic call. Among all the gods she honored, there was one she lifted above all. Inanna, goddess of love and war, the morning star, the force of chaos and creation, destruction and rebirth. Enheduanna's most powerful hymns were not just prayers but prophecies, proclamations of the rising power of the divine feminine. Her verses to Inanna were not gentle praises, they were invocations of power. She wrote of the goddess as both terrible and beautiful, as one who destroys kings and builds empires, as the force that turns the tides of war and fate. Through Enheduanna, the goddess spoke. Through her, the world was reminded. The divine feminine is not soft nor submissive. She is not hidden nor silent. She is the storm. She is the fire. She is the force that bends the universe to its will, the exile and the return. But all prophets are tested. The ones who speak truth are always cast out. There came a time when Enheduanna was exiled, banished from her sacred temple, her voice silenced, her power stripped away by those who feared her. She wandered in the wilderness, lost, broken, forgotten. But even in her suffering, she lifted her voice. I who once sat in the sacred temple am cast out into the storm. My light is shrouded, my power stolen. O Inanna, will you not rise for me as I have risen for you? And Inanna answered. The goddess who had once descended into the underworld and returned, reborn, renewed, did not abandon her chosen one. Enheduanna was restored. She returned to her temple. She reclaimed her place. She rose as all those aligned with divinity must rise. Her message to us, the eternal fire of the divine feminine. Now hear me, luminous soul. What was Enheduanna's message? What truth did she carry into the world that still burns in our veins today? She tells us, do not let them silence you. Your voice, when aligned with truth, is a force that cannot be erased. Do not let them diminish you. You are not small, you are not powerless. You are the storm, you are the fire. You are the divine breath made flesh. When they cast you out, rise. For even in exile, the sacred flame within you cannot be extinguished. The world may try to erase you, but divinity cannot be erased. Closing reflection, the song of the first prophetess. So today we honor her, Enheduanna, the first woman to take the voice of the divine and carve it into history. The first prophetess to speak not as an echo, but as an origin. The first to remind us that the sacred feminine is not a shadow, not an afterthought, but the very force that moves the heavens and the earth. Her words have never faded. They live in you. They live in every woman who speaks her truth. They live in every soul who dares to remember. And so, beautiful soul, what will you write? What will you speak? What divine fire burns within you, waiting to be released into the world? Speak it. Write it. Let your voice be heard. And know, as Enheduanna knew, that the divine is with you, always.